Well, hello and welcome to Made at Home with Rebecca, where today we are going to be making brown sugar molasses boba. We're going to start off with 1/3 cup of water. We're going to add 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And 1/4 cup of your favorite molasses. We want to make sure when mixing all these ingredients that they come to a low simmer and they get well incorporated together before we start adding our tapioca. We're going to begin to heat this mixture up on medium-low heat on your stove until everything gets to a nice simmer. Now, sometimes when you're making your boba, some people in their recipes will add black food coloring to make them that dark black color. But if you're like me and you prefer to have as limited amount of food coloring, you don't have to add the black food coloring. So in this recipe, I do not add any food coloring, but you are welcome to add a few drops of black gel food coloring. Now we're just going to continue to stir to make sure all the ingredients are well incorporated over a low-medium heat in a large saucepan. We're going to keep stirring this until it comes to a slight simmer, and then we're going to add our tapioca flour. I'm going to be using Bob's Red Mill tapioca flour. You can use any brand that you prefer. This is the finely ground bag, and all that's in there is the tapioca. Now that we're at a low simmer, I'm going to begin to add some tapioca flour. I'm going to start off with 1/2 cup. Now we're just going to mix this really well until it's all well blended, keeping the stove on the low-medium heat. This is going to help dissolve that tapioca flour into your liquid. Now our mixture is starting to thicken, but we need to get it to a nice dough consistency where it's not too dry, but just a little bit wet. So we're going to have to add some more tapioca. I realized I did not measure out the remainder of the tapioca flour, but looking at this video, it looks like I used approximately 1 cup and 1/3 of tapioca flour. So as you're adding the tapioca, you're going to keep an eye on the consistency of your mixture. The goal is to try to form a nice dough. So once you get to that point, you don't have to add any more tapioca. And if you feel like you've added too much, then you can just add a little bit more water. It's very forgiving, so don't be afraid to make any mistakes. Now, when mixing tapioca flour, the reason why we put it on a low-medium heat is in order for that tapioca flour to get really well blended in there, you can't just mix it with cold water. It dissolves better when you have warm water that you're stirring over the stove. This is what's going to give it its elasticity and making sure that everything is being well combined. So we're starting to get there, but we're not there yet. So we're going to keep stirring and then we'll add some more tapioca flour. Alrighty, it looks like we're just about there. Let's get this well mixed together and then we're going to move it over to our countertop with some parchment paper where we'll get ready to form this dough. Now that we have our parchment paper, let's add a little bit of that tapioca flour so that we can make sure that our dough doesn't stick to that surface. Now we're going to add our dough mixture onto that parchment paper. And before I start kneading this, I'm going to put on some gloves. You don't have to wear any, but the dough is a little bit sticky, so I want to make sure it doesn't stick to my hands. Now let's begin to knead it. This recipe is going to yield a lot of boba pearls. I am not going to end up using all of this dough, so you are welcome to freeze it in the freezer. You can freeze it after you shaped the pearls, or you can freeze it before you start shaping it. It holds up really, really nice in the freezer. So if you have a freezer bag, go ahead and pop the remainder in there. Like I said, this is going to make a lot of boba. Now, depending on what size you want for your boba pearls, you can roll this out in as thick or as thin as you like. Just keep in mind that when you're drinking it through a straw, you're going to have to make them just small enough so that it could fit through there. I was actually able to find some jumbo silicone straws at my local store in my city. So I'm sure if you can't find them somewhere local, you're able to find them online as well. Now I'm ready to cut these up into pieces, and I'm going to form them each into little round pearls with my hands. This recipe was fairly simple in the ingredients that it required, but it is a bit time consuming. So if you're looking to make this recipe and you're not wanting to do a full batch, I would say don't even worry about rolling out all the different pieces. Just maybe do enough for yourself and then put the rest in the freezer. Now, if you're looking for an easier way to make boba, they have prepared boba already sold at local Asian markets, and you can just boil them straight over the stovetop and go that route. But if you're looking for something fun and something new to do and learning something, this is a fun, easy recipe to try at home on your own. It's very forgiving to do. Like I said, it's very time consuming, but it's always fun to try to do something you've never done before. So I say go for it, give it a try. But it definitely was a labor of love. It did take me quite a while to get this done from start to finish. Grab yourself a small container and fill it with some tapioca flour so you can drop those tapioca pearls into it so they don't stick to each other, and then you're going to give it a good toss. This took me quite a while to do, and I just realized, you know what, I'm not going to use all this boba right now, so I'm going to roll up the remainder of the dough and put it into a freezer bag, and I can use it at a later time. Now here's what they look like, nicely shaped boba pearls that we're going to take and we're going to end up boiling and cooking them over the stove. At this point, you're going to grab a small pot and you're going to boil some water. Once your water comes to a boil, you're going to add your tapioca pearls in there. At first, you're just going to drop them in. You're not going to want to stir them around so you don't disrupt the shape of the tapioca pearls. You're going to let this continue to boil until your tapioca pearls begin to float to the top. Off to the side, we're going to start our brown sugar sauce for the boba. I've added 1/2 cup of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm stirring that. After the tapioca pearls are done cooking and they all rise to the top, I'm going to remove them from the boiling water and add them directly into my brown sugar sauce and let them cook in there for a few minutes. Now that we've cooked them for a little while in the brown sugar sauce, we're going to carefully remove them from the stove. I'm going to put them in a little mason jar, let them cool off slightly before adding them to my drink. When you're adding boba, you can create this with milk tea or anything that you like to drink boba with. I'm going to make a brown sugar molasses boba coffee for myself. We're going to add some of that boba to our cup. Going to add some milk. You can use any type of milk you prefer. To that, I'm going to add some ice and some coffee. Give it a nice stir. Now we're ready to drink our brown sugar molasses boba coffee. If you enjoyed this recipe, please like, share, and follow for more recipes. Don't forget to subscribe and put on your notifications. See you next time.